Hello everybody and welcome to a video in which I am going to do a bit of self-promotion actually. You may or may not know that in addition to writing 15 or so articles a week for DDNet, producing a monthly podcast and managing this YouTube channel, I also work on visual novels which you can get from itch.io. It is a favourite genre of mine and I saw an opportunity to play around with it, so I figured I'd give it a go. I wanted to use this video to discuss what I'm doing with those and hopefully give you a better idea of what I'm looking to achieve with them, as well as of course introduce both the current and future users of this YouTube channel to those visual novels. So we cover a lot of themes and topics at DDNet, and one of my real passions is talking about narrative, themes, philosophies, ideas and so on. The hook that I saw with the DD visual novels was to use them to further explore some of my favourite themes and ideas. So of the visual novels that we have produced so far, the first one looks at the erotic thriller cinema genre, which is a favourite cinema genre of mine. It's basically dead these days, but it was big in the 80s and 90s and I have always been a fan of it. Another looks at existentialism as a theme. It's a favourite theme of mine. A third one looks at the male gaze as a topic, because it is a very relevant topic to video games. And now I'm working on one that explores the various ideas at the heart of Marquis de Sade and his writing. Now these aren't lectures or anything, they're not designed that way, they're designed as full narrative games with their own stories and all that kind of stuff. But I want to focus each one of them around one of those core themes and really explore it in a way that is hopefully interesting, enjoyable and maybe even a little bit enlightening. And the series has come a long way already. The first DD visual novel only featured one character, that is Dee Dee herself, and was only a couple of hours in length total. I think you can run through it in maybe 2 or 3 hours, it's still, something that I am very proud of and I think is a very strong, cohesive narrative, but it is relatively short, brief, and it was made with very minimal resources. When you're running on the most micro of micro budgets, you do have to get very creative in building cohesive stories out of what is basically available to you. Since then I've been able to consistently scale things up. We've added more locations within the world for the characters to explore and actually more characters, so the next visual novel will actually have at least 7 or 8 times the amount of art as the original, and now there are 5 characters that you can interact with and hang out with along the way. I've also expanded what I'm doing to give Review by Visual Novel a go. That's a free one that I've created. I've only created the one so far, but it's a free kind of micro visual novel of about 15-20 minutes in which I write a review and then have the game kind of talk it through as though it's kind of an interactive visual novel thing. I've only done one of them so far, like I said, but it was really good fun to play around with, provide the review in a different format, and I will do more, I think. They take a lot of work compared to just sitting down and writing a review, but I think they're an engaging way of talking about games and giving people a different angle to look at games, I guess, in a more kind of conversational way, as visual novels tend to be. In general, writing visual novels has been an absolutely fascinating process, and I've learned all kinds of things. So did you know that visual novels tend to be substantially longer than books and novels? A standard length novel is between 60,000 and 100,000 words, and publishers tend to start cutting things back when they get over that. But a 3 to 4 hour visual novel, so one that's on the short side as such, is around 50,000 words. I can confirm that, having done plenty of those now. And you can just imagine how many words go into a 50+ hour visual novel, as some of the larger ones are, and how much work goes into those just in terms of the raw writing. Additionally, working out how to bring together art, writing, concept, music and so on into something that's both cohesive and consistent and enjoyable for the reader has been another fascinating challenge. These are all things that I was not familiar with before starting a visual novel. I've always done writing, but that's just one way. That's kind of a one note medium as such. You're just reading text, bringing visuals and music and all that stuff into it, and trying to creatively combine them all has been a really interesting and fun challenge. In other words, I highly recommend that you make your own visual novels if you ever get the chance to. They are very time consuming, and if you want to create your own art assets and stuff, they can be very art asset heavy. If you can't draw yourself, then it can be an expensive process to get the art done, but it is a very rewarding process. I'm using a very useful drag and drop interface called Visual Novel Maker to produce mine, which has the benefit of me not needing to learn how to code on any level at all, because I just don't have the time to learn how to code. So thankfully Visual Novel exists for people like me, but other people are using Twine, Ren'Py, Unity, or a dozen other platforms, and some of them allow you to get very complex in terms of the coding that you also implement to bring game-like elements in there and stuff. The best thing about visual novels, though, is that if you do just want to focus on the narrative and storytelling rather than gameplay as such, you can do that. And for people who want to make games and get involved with the kind of the game production side, but don't have the coding skills and don't have the time and ability to learn how to make code or write code, the fact that visual novels exist has been a wonderful way for people to get their step into the industry. The other reason I started to do these visual novels was as a way of giving back to backers on Patreon. So Patreon backers support all the articles, reviews, interviews, features, videos and podcasts that I do, but all of that is provided free, and I want to keep it that way. I don't want my content to be locked behind paywalls and stuff. I want people to be able to engage with it. However, by producing these visual novels, I'm able to support the website because there is income coming in there, and by having the Patreon, I'm able to have that monthly income as well. By combining them, so giving the visual novels to Patreon backers, I've been able to give them something back in return for their support of me. So they get codes to download the games without charge off each. They get access to demos first and all that kind of stuff, and regular posts about the production process and art. They get to see art before it's published in the visual novels and whatever. The support of people on Patreon means the world to me, and while these visual novels are really a lot of work, I couldn't think of a better way to give back to them for their support and belief in what I'm doing. So anyway, that's enough of this video. That's a very long 7-8 minute thing in which I've been promoting my own visual novels. Let's call it a developer diary. That'll be it. This is the developer diary for the Dee Dee visual novels. But I do want to thank everybody for watching. I hope if you get a chance, you get to play one of my Dee Dee VNs. There's a couple that are free on itch. You can download a demo right now for the SARD one that I'm working on. There's also the review one that I mentioned in the video. That's a free download as well. And if you want to support the work that I'm doing, you can of course buy them, and that would be hugely appreciated. Or you can just back me on Patreon, and for even $1 a month you'll get access to all the visual novels. So that's a way of getting all of them and supporting me as well in the process. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your continued support of the digitally downloaded website and YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have an awesome weekend and week ahead, whatever time you're watching this video, and we will see you next time.